Hi, Air Conda here with another video. This one's gonna be pretty brief, or well, quick, brief, same thing. I'm just gonna go over my build so far on my Jeep, and maybe even cover some things I plan to do in the future. I said I was gonna do that in my last video, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that since this one will be pretty quick and simple, since I actually don't have a whole lot to cover. For everything I list, I'll try to get the names exact. If not, they'll be in the description and with links to the best prices that I can find. Obviously I see you got some D-rings here. Everybody's got D-rings, and some will say you need the best and most expensive. Some just say you need to make sure they're durable and strong enough. It doesn't really matter. In my case, I got some Badlands in the front, and I bought them from a friend of mine. He powder coated them for me. They need to be cleaned up, obviously, but like I said, I take this Jeep off-roading all the time. The headlights and the fog lights were a kit that came together, and I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what brand they were. There's some Chinese ones. I actually just installed them, and if you can see, I'm already gonna have to probably call to have them replaced. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but I got 3 green lights in the middle of my orange ring, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I know it probably doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna really notice, but it's gonna bother me. Then I got this mini built XRC front bumper. I think it's Gen 1 if I remember correctly. Again, I'll have the link in the description, and with the best price I could find. I believe I got this from Amazon along with my rear bumper and the tire carrier that came together. I got a Smitty built X2O waterproof winch with wireless ability. It also has wire capability. You just plug it into the remote and then remote into here. Let me get closer. Right there. I mean, anybody that's got a winch probably already knows what a plug looks like, and isn't that big a deal. But this is the on-off switch for the wireless. So pretty standard as far as that goes. And this is, I can't believe I forgot the name of this grill because I just put it on. Actually, there's several people that make it, and they all suck, honestly. The first one I got, this is actually the second one I got. I know some of you be like, why are you wasting your time and money? Because I actually really like this grill, and I like the options it's supposed to come with, but both of them did not come with everything they were supposed to come with. The first one I came with actually came with the mounting area right here. It was broke, so I had to super glue that back on. It didn't come with this grill guard, and it did not come with the mounting equipment to mount these in, because these don't slide. On the stock grill, your blinkers slide into the front. These have to slide it into the back and then have a plate go over to screw it in. So my first grill didn't come with this. This one came with this. Everything was fine up here. It came with pretty much all the hardware needed to mount it, except the screws to mount the plate to the grill. I mean, it came with 2, and it's a plastic thing. It's kind of like what you do to keep your grill secure to the top of your Jeep. They pop, one part pops in, then you're supposed to take this little plastic screw and screw it in, but I couldn't get it to work, and one of them actually cracked on me when I was trying to push it into the hole it belonged in. So I just got fed up and found some screws that can hold well enough to keep the lights in place. They're not perfect. I plan to switch them out with some better screws, but that's it. These are Smitty built flat fenders. Not that impressive, not that amazing, but they give you plenty of clearance. They're metal, which I like, because I had plastic flat fenders from Rugged Ridge, and they would just flop in the wind, even with everything in mounted. As you can see, I had some trail damage, and this is flatter than it should be. You'll see the difference on the other side. And then down below is my metal cloak, tie rod, and drag link with a rough country steering stabilizer. Steering stabilizer isn't anything special. I just destroyed the last one I had, so I had to replace this one. I had to replace my tie rod and drag link because I couldn't. For my tie rod was bent and rubbing against my diff cover, which is a poison spider. That actually here you can see where it's been rubbing. It's again not a big deal, but I couldn't turn all the way driver's side, and that does become a problem. So that's basically all I have done under here. The track bar is still stock. I need to replace that. This is a Rubicon. I have electronic locking diffs, so I don't, or actually I'm sorry, this is the sway bar disconnect, but I do have electronic locking diffs for front and rear, so that's just stock. I'm not gonna mess with that because they're expensive, and if this works, it works. If it breaks someday, maybe I'll go with another locking diff, but for now I'm good. That's it for underneath. Now if I go to the front of my, or in here, you saw in the other video, I have a PSC power steering pump. I actually have an update on it. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you can see it in another video where I was talking about replacing it, but I can give you an update that I have adjusted my hose. It was kind of bent and kinked and turned, well, it wasn't really kinked, but it was all windy and not very straight and to the point. But I actually yesterday disconnected it and removed it, and it was out to here all bent and doing S shapes. I made it more straight and to the point, and when I backed my Jeep out of the garage, I noticed that the issue I was talking about in my last video about turning left and right to the extreme, it fights it if I'm not hitting the gas at all. And yes, the Jeep is on before somebody says you need the Jeep on for the power steering pump to work. I understand that. But after I did this and when I backed it out, I just gave it a quick test and went side to side as far as I could both ways and didn't have any issues. So hopefully that's fixed. I'll have to actually drive it around some more to be positive that it is fixed. I have the stock fender liners in. Well, they're not in right now because I've been, like I said, doing work because I got to replace my catalytic converter. I have Goodyear Fierce Attitude 35-inch tires. The size you see right there. 16-inch rim. They're level 8 rims. I don't know anything about them. They came in the Jeep when they bought them. They're not my favorite, but they can take a beating. There, I've cracked that down here and everything's dinged up and eaten up. It's not bead lock. This is a fake bead lock. I don't overall like the look of them. I do plan to replace them someday, just not in a hurry to do it. If they work, I don't need to replace them right now. They're not that bad looking. That's it for the front and inside the engine. Oh, I got rough country shocks in for 2 to 2.5 inch lift kit because I didn't do the lift kit to this. I'm assuming it's 2 to 2.5. It's not lower than a stock Jeep or the same height as a stock Jeep, but it's not much taller either. So 2 to 2.5. I know there's a specific way you can measure it. I just don't feel like getting into it. It's high enough for what I need to do for now, and then someday when I make good money or I save up my money, I'm gonna go up to 3.5, and I'll probably go to Metal Cloak since I already got my front end, 2 of their components for the front end. I will say that for those of you who aren't familiar with Metal Cloak, I know almost everybody I know and I ride with runs a Metal Cloak something or other, and they swear up and down by them. They are pretty good. They're pretty rugged. I would say it would take a huge beating before anything goes wrong with it. And so far that I can find, you can only buy their stuff from their site. They don't outsource it to anybody else. We're gonna move on to my side. These are Barricade Enhanced Ruby rails. I had Ruby rails on before here. Then I went to Rugged Ridge tubular side steps, which was a horrible mistake, but this was when I was beginning my Jeep exploration and my life in the Jeeps, and didn't realize tubular side steps are horrible if you actually plan to use the Jeep what it's intended for. I destroyed it within the first trip I took. So I went back to Ruby rails, but I also, because I feel they protect pretty well. I'm sure there are better things out there, but they're more expensive, and these have taken a beating and they're holding out really well and have prevented a lot of damage to my my Jeep. The side step is, I don't need a whole lot of step, I just need enough to step on it. I'm about 5'9", and with the little height I have, if I want to get up to open my roof, there's my dog Maverick. Like I said, he likes to get in the Jeep. Even if we're not going anywhere, he'll just sit there by the door staring at it and then looking at me until I finally let him. So most of the time I just give in to let him jump right in. I got LED trail lights. These are the only 2 trail lights I have in the front. I don't know who makes them, because again, they actually came with the Jeep. I may replace them someday, mainly because I prefer round lights over square. I know everybody's like, well, square is better, blah blah blah, but I prefer the round lights. I know this is a newer Jeep and not everything is what a classic Jeep would have, but I like the look of the classic Jeep and I would like to model it as much as possible. And I already know I'm going to hear people complain, well, your grill is nowhere near to classic Jeep, and I know some diehard Jeep people, because I've already heard it from my guys I ride with, that this is an ugly grill and doesn't belong on a Jeep. My argument is it still has a 7 slots, so that's good enough for me. If your grill has a 7 slots, you're golden. That's just me, but everybody's to each their own, especially if they're more diehard than the other. This is stock soft top, so nothing special about that. I'm going to try to avoid letting you guys see my mess in here because it's pretty bad, but well, this is going to be pretty brief anyway. So I left my keys in the ignition, so that's going to keep beeping. This is by far my favorite interior upgrade so far. This is the Vector off-road dash bar. It is for the TJs and JKs. I think actually it might not be for TJs, it might be only for JKs only as of right now, but it's pretty awesome if you like having a bunch of accessories on your dash. It has only 3 mounting points. It mounts right here, and then obviously on the opposite side it mounts in the center. Again, forgive the mess, down in here. So you even get to keep that in there, which I enjoy too. I'm all about storage and utility when it comes especially to the interior of my Jeep. Right now I got my cell phone mount. I use the RAM mount system. Amazing. That's actually what Vector Off-Road recommends for this mount, because they have thousands of options you can do for any phone. I even have one for a tablet. So I usually fly a drone on trips. It's kind of cool to have a tablet linked up to my drone just sitting here, and I can look at it while I only do it when I wheel. I'm not doing it when I'm driving down the highway, because obviously getting distracted is bad and causes accidents. But that's it, or I have on the Vector off-road mount, or dashboard mount. I plan to add more to it. I want sensor readers, and I'm looking into getting a trail GPS that will be mounted up on here. And I've seen people even mount their CB radios on here, like maybe here or here or here. Mine's just a standard mount up into just onto the clip part that holds the, if you had a hardtop, I think something screws into there. I have no intention to ever go hardtop, so I don't know exactly. I have a Uniden Pro 505 XL CB radio, Bearcat. I love it. It wasn't that expensive. It came with pretty much everything it needed. The only thing I needed to change for it is I had to get a, it came with the mount. Actually, no, it didn't. This came with the antenna mount, my mount for the CB radio, but it came with pretty much everything except, since I got my antenna running to the rear, an 18-foot CB radio antenna cable. It just came with like a 6-foot, and if that's fine if you're gonna mount it out up front somewhere, but that's not good enough for me. I ended up mounting up through here and put it in the padding of the roll cage and running all the way back down there. But that's it for interior up front. I mean, I got the Jeep Mopar floor mats actually need to be replaced. One's tearing, and as you can see, it's very dirty. So that's it for that. Let's see how long we're going with this video. 15 minutes, that's not too bad. I'm doing too well, not too bad. I mean, on this, these are a love-hate for me. Again, I like storage and utility in my Jeep, especially if I'm going on camping trips. I want to prevent taking up space in the bed area. One thing you can see is I hardly ever have, and this is gonna be important with those storage bags, I hardly ever have my seats up because it's just me and my dog. And if somebody's riding with me, they're usually in the front seat. I keep it down for two reasons. One, great for storage space. Two, when this is actually clean, my dog can walk all over the Jeep looking out all the windows, especially if the tops are down. But I do need to put something so he's not slipping his paws between the cracks and stuff and hurting himself when we go wheeling. He likes to wheel with me, so I like to keep him in here, but I also don't want to hurt him. So, but anyway, back to the storage bags. These are Sunpie. It was about $75 or $85 for a pair. Not too bad, but not amazing either. As you see, if you want to, you can hold your fire extinguisher here. It's great if you're a soft top. It's horrible if you're a hard top, because as far as I know, there's no way to get into these windows with hard tops to get to your stuff unless you have them turn around facing inward. But that kind of, to me, defeats the purpose of these bags, because these are quick. When I'm trail riding, I at least have these windows off and all my windows down so I can hear everybody when they're spotting me. So if anything I needed is easy and quick to grab. I got stuff in here like my fire extinguisher, I got some Sharpie markers, I got some super glue, I got a tape measure. I try to keep my cheaper tools here if they either fall out, get lost, or some jerk tries to come up and grabs them, because sometimes I'll forget to put my windows on and drive around town. I'm not too upset that I've lost them, but they got two netting storage compartments here. They got little pouches down here. Kind of pointless because they can't really hold anything too big, but I mean they can be used if you get creative with them. And you can see it's all MOLLE, so if instead of using the straps like I'm using them, you can add bags and stuff, but I'm gonna hold off on that for now. It has a little zipper pouch that, I mean, there's not a whole lot of space. I got gloves in here and some recovery gear. I got binoculars down in there. It's actually pretty deep, like you see. I can put my arm down there pretty far, and it goes from front to back, so you got quite a bit of space in there actually. It depends how much you fold. There's another inner compartment, and it depends how much you fill that up. This is a Velcro compartment, and this flap is useless because once you put heavy stuff in there, as you can see, it's pulling everything down, and I can't close the Velcro. I mean, if I pull it up and close it, it can do it. This is if you got some. It comes with opposite clips. I think I just threw mine away because I'll never use it, because feels like very cheap plastic, and it would break easy, and whatever you clip here will probably fall off if you don't have it tucked into a pouch. Right now I got actually nothing in this pouch but anything going here. They hold up by these 4 straps, and I want to get to the cons in a minute, but you also have space like here. You got more MOLLE straps. You got another netting pouch here to add into your tools and stuff too, and then you have a storage pouch. Right now nothing's in this one, but I usually keep my snatch strap in here, some tools. I actually like, this is usually in here. There's a small little ratchet set. It has a shelf. Again, it's Velcro. It holds up pretty well. You can hold quite a bit of weight, actually, and obviously does better if you got this cram packed in here. I keep my spray lubes in here. I'll keep a bottle of transmission fluid or power or steering fluid or anything else that's small enough to fit in here that I could use on a wheeling trip. You never know, unfortunately, when an accident's happened and you're stuck, and any amount of fluid is better than none. So and I'll keep like sunscreen and bug spray in there too, so I can easily get to it if I'm getting irritated by stuff like that. Get to the rear. These are Warrior Products tail lights. I've been looking for a tail light, something like this, for a while, and so far this is the best I like. I know Poison Spiders has got their whole corner armor that you can do this, or but it involves a lot of cutting to the fender. This still involves cutting, but not as much as the others. And it's just limited to the circle here. I like the added lights here. You got your side markers here in case your state requires them. And then you got your reverse light and your brake light, turn signal, and everything. My complaints with this is not flush. I would prefer if the light was flush inside, not sticking out like this. I would also prefer this to actually be smaller. and it's kind of sad. This is actually just like a light meant for trailers that they just use this rubber thing to pop into the mount, and then you get your tail light. It's pretty bright though. I just wish it was smaller. It's kind of too big for my taste. Something a little smaller would have been better, but I still enjoy it. It's expensive. It's really expensive, but they swear by their products. It's all made in the USA, so they say that. But I'm fairly certain they're just talking about this part, because I believe it said made in Taiwan on the back of this. And I don't know what it says. It didn't say anything on the back of that. But this is metal, unlike most aftermarket taillights and your stock taillights. These are plastic, unless you get corner armor to protect everything. I didn't feel like go all that out on that, so I just went with this. And the reason why I replaced it, I cracked it on a off-road trip. So, and then there's your rear tire carrier, the XRC Gen 1 rear tire carrier or bumper. It has LED lights in the tail right there. And mine aren't hooked up yet. I do plan to hook them up someday. It comes with the wires and the switch. I don't think they're long enough for a JKU to go from rear to front. They look pretty short. For a JKU or a TJ, you'll probably be fine. But I don't know. I don't think they make this for TJs anyway. I can't remember. And these are different D-rings. They're not Badlands. But again, I'm not product biased by D-rings. Whatever is a good deal that I know is going to hold up is fine with me. Obviously, they weren't this color. They've been powder coated. That is a Rusty's rear diff cover. Very beefy, very bulky. It's actually beefier and bulkier than the Poison Spiders, so you can take that as it is. That was also powder coated as well. And then this is the XRC tire carrier. I have mixed feelings about this. It's heavy duty. I have no issues about it, knowing it's going to hold up my tires without a problem. The issues I have with it is that it shakes a lot. I plan to look into doing some mods to help hold it into place. I got some friends that made some recommendations about clamps and grommets here to hold it so it doesn't wiggle as much on it. It sounds worse when I'm on the trails. But for you who like to enjoy adult beverages which require bottle openers, this is in fact marketed as a bottle opener, and it does do the job, obviously. This tire carrier has options to add mounts all over the place for different things. Actually, I wouldn't think it'd be a bad idea to add some LED lights to point back for trail riding, or if you got that jerk that won't get off your tail and you want to let them know they need to get off your tail. I need to get the jack mount. I have a jack. It's in the back of my Jeep right now, but I need to get a jack mount so it can be on the outside for, obviously, again, quick, easy access purposes and to save space inside my Jeep. It even comes with equipment to add rotor pack mounts. Mine are still sitting in the garage. I don't have rotor pack, so I didn't feel like putting the mounts on. And if you like having visibility out your rear window, you won't like those mounts because they'll completely cover your rear window more than the tire does now. So I believe I have about it. I've pretty much covered everything that I have on this Jeep. I'll just give you a quick view of this pack. Oh, and I got a spider shade for the top. Came with the Jeep when I bought it as well. I got fairly lucky with it. There's, like I said, the radio antenna for the cable right there, and this is my antenna. Actually, I have one more thing to show you. So yeah, this is the other pack. I'm not going to open this one. Well, it's already open, and as you can see, I got my recovery strap. This is my compressor, and then this is a buck knife I have, good for I can't think of the term right now, bushcrafting, for making fires and shelters and stuff. Even you can take these off, and I've seen people use paracord to strap it to a long stick for a spear. If you're that worried about survival, you can do something like that, or you're just like to have fun and experiment. And then I got like all kinds of electrical connectors in here. Since this isn't as heavy, I can easily put stuff, close that. I will recommend this, since this is here. When I did my rear diff cover, I recommend getting this, something, a T70 for your ratchet. I believe that's the part number right there if you need it. The plug for that diff cover for the one I have in the rear is bigger than the standard plug, so you can't just take your 1/2 inch ratchet and just put it in there to loosen it and tighten it. I had to go to the auto store, and unfortunately found out after I've already put everything on, so I couldn't take, and had no fluid in, so I couldn't take my Jeep to go get it. I had to get a friend to come pick me up to go get this tool so I can close that plug after I put fluid in. The one last thing I needed to show, and as they say, Jeeps are work in progress, so you're never done with them, and some people say Jeep stands for just empty every project. That's pretty true. I have spent way too much money in the last month and a half for upgrades and for mechanical reasons, and like I said, it's not because the Jeep is horrible. They're great for reliability, for my experience, and from what everybody that I heard have owned Jeeps a lot longer than me. I know there's a lot of people complaining about reliability issues. Sometimes people just get a lemon. Sometimes people are just haters and don't want to like the Jeep. But this is a Smittybilt tailgate cover that has molly straps. It's horrible. This was the very first upgrade I bought for this thing, and I should have done my research more. There's other companies that make these, and from what I see and hear, they are far better than this. This is garbage. The bags that come with aren't even to standard, so they sag a lot. You can't even weave them the way they're supposed to be weaved, so they're not secure like they should be. The only thing decent about this thing is this part. It looks kind of crappy right now because I actually didn't install it too well. Again, it's my first upgrade. I was overzealous and excited, but I got my SOG seal pup there. And I plan to replace all those bags and put new bags on, and maybe even replace with, I can't remember who makes it. It's a tailgate tray. Yeah, it's all metal, and you can open it up and obviously put stuff on there for, you know, if you want to use it for camping, to do your cooking and all that. Or if you want, if I remember correctly, when you close it up, it had a molly strap capability, so you can do all this too with that. But I mean, the bags in concept were great because they got plenty of storage and the additional molly on it. However, like I said, it's just loose and crappy. I can't even snap it because it doesn't line up correctly. So, and I have no intention of strapping because, like I said, I will replace it someday. But I'll give you one overview of my rig again. Got any questions, concerns? I do have a lot of work. Like I said, I want to repaint this whole thing. I want to replace the top. It's faded, it's gross, it's tearing in some areas because I rubbed up against a tree. As you can see, this is my baby. People keep telling me, because all the mechanicals issues I have, why don't I just trade it in and get myself a new one? I can't. My first Jeep, and I put a lot of sweat and blood and tears into this thing already. I have no intentions to give it up. And also, there's one more thing, aftermarket thing in there. I have the aftermarket air intake, and I can't remember who makes it. I know the filter's K&N. But I'll add that in the link in the description too. And you guys saw it in the other video, so if you want to look at it, just reference the video. And so, but that's it. This is Anaconda, and I hope you enjoy the video. Feel free to subscribe and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, and leave a comment and like if you want.